What if I told you that two small copper coins, sitting forgotten in someone's drawer, recently sold for a combined total of nearly $200,000? That's not a typo. 2 pennies, 1 cent each, face value of 2 cents total. And together, they are worth almost $200,000. If you have been throwing old pennies in a jar, tossing them in a fountain, or leaving them on the counter at a gas station, you need to stop everything right now and watch this video until the very end, because what I am about to share with you today could absolutely change your life. Stay with me, because this is one of those videos that people share with their families, their friends, and their children, and years later they say, "That video changed everything for me." Welcome back to Expensive Coins History Channel. If you are new here, this is the place where ordinary people discover extraordinary value hiding in the most unexpected places. Today, we are talking about two of the most remarkable pennies ever struck by the United States Mint. These are not rare ancient coins locked away in a museum. These are Lincoln pennies, 1 cent coins, the kind of coins that were made in 1974, the kind of coins that were used in everyday transactions, dropped in coat pockets, left in cars, and yes, thrown in jars sitting on kitchen shelves right now in homes all across America. And two specific versions of these coins are worth a fortune. Now, before we get into the full story, I want you to do something for me. Go and like this video right now, because the information in it is genuinely valuable, and it deserves to reach as many people as possible. And if you have not subscribed to Expensive Coins History Channel yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss a video like this one. We release content that could put real money in your pocket, and you do not want to miss a single upload. Now let us get into this incredible story. The year is 1974. America is in the middle of one of the most turbulent decades in its modern history. The Vietnam War is winding down. Watergate is shaking the political world. Inflation is rising. Gas lines are stretching around the block. And in the middle of all of this, the United States Mint is doing what it always does. It is striking millions upon millions of coins to keep the economy moving. Among those coins are Lincoln 1-cent pennies. Millions of them. Ordinary copper cents bearing the face of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Most of these coins went straight into circulation and were used, worn, lost, and forgotten. But among all of those millions of pennies, a very small number of them were different. Deeply, profoundly, historically different. And those coins are the subject of this video today. Let us start by talking about the Lincoln penny itself, because to understand why these two coins are so extraordinary, you first need to understand what makes a Lincoln penny special in the first place. Abraham Lincoln became the first real historical figure to appear on a circulating United States coin when his portrait was added to the 1-cent piece in 1909. Before that, American coins featured symbolic figures, Lady Liberty, eagles, and other representations, but not real named individuals. Lincoln changed that. His portrait was added to honor the centennial of his birth, and since that day in 1909, his face has appeared on every single American penny ever made. That is over 115 years of continuous production, billions upon billions of coins, all of them bearing the face of the man who held the United States together during its most painful chapter. Now in 1974, there were two main mint facilities producing Lincoln pennies in large quantities: the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. When a coin is struck at the Philadelphia Mint, it carries no mint mark, or in some years it carries a small letter P. When a coin is struck at the Denver Mint, it carries a small letter D on the coin. That tiny letter D is the difference between a regular coin and a coin with a specific identity tied to a specific place of origin. And in the world of coin collecting, that identity matters enormously. The 1974 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, produced in Philadelphia, and the 1974 D Lincoln penny, produced in Denver, are both part of the same family of coins. They look nearly identical to the untrained eye. They are both copper. They both show Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. They are both 1-cent coins. But here is where things get absolutely fascinating. And here is where the story takes a turn that most people never see coming. In 1974, the United States Mint was facing a very serious problem. The price of copper was rising. The metal in a penny was becoming worth more than the penny itself. The Mint needed to find a solution. So in 1974, they began experimenting with an alternative material. They began striking experimental pennies made from aluminum instead of the traditional copper composition. These experimental aluminum cents were produced in very small numbers, strictly for testing and evaluation purposes. They were never meant to enter circulation. They were never meant to be sold to the public. They were internal test pieces, prototypes, coins made to see how aluminum would behave in vending machines, in coin-operated equipment, and in everyday handling. A very small number of these experimental 1974 aluminum cents survived. Some were given to members of Congress for evaluation, as the mint sought legislative approval for the composition change. And somewhere along the way, a tiny handful of these coins ended up outside the official channels. The regular copper 1974 pennies that did circulate are common coins worth face value in average condition. But the coins we are talking about today, the ones with the extraordinary values, are pieces that carry the weight of a pivotal moment in American monetary history, a moment when the country's coinage was on the verge of a fundamental change. Even among the standard copper issue, certain specimens graded in perfect or near-perfect condition by professional grading services represent the absolute finest known examples of these coins, and those finest known examples command prices that stagger the imagination. Let us talk about what professional coin grading means, because if you are going to understand why certain 1974 pennies are worth so much, you need to understand how coins are evaluated. Professional coin grading is the process by which independent experts examine a coin under magnification, assess its surface preservation, its luster, its strike quality, and any marks or blemishes, and assign it a numerical grade on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 means the coin is absolutely perfect. No marks, no blemishes, perfect luster, perfect strike, exactly as it left the mint. A coin graded at 65 or higher is considered gem quality. The higher the grade, the fewer coins that exist at that level, and the higher the price a collector is willing to pay. For a coin like the 1974 Lincoln penny, which was produced in the millions, the vast majority of surviving coins are in lower grades, circulated, worn, scratched, and handled. The coins that survived in pristine, perfect condition, never touching another coin, never rattling around in a pocket or a drawer, those coins are extraordinarily rare. And when a coin is rare, and when the demand among serious collectors is high, the price rises to levels that seem impossible until you actually see them happen at auction. Now here is where I want you to lean in very close, because this is the heart of what we are discussing today on Expensive Coins History Channel, and this is the part of the video you are going to want to remember. The 1974 D Lincoln 1-cent penny, the one bearing that small d mint mark from the Denver Mint, has sold for $102,000. $102,000 for a 1-cent coin. And the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny from Philadelphia, the one with no mint mark, has sold for $91,000. $91,000. Together, these two coins represent $193,000 of value. Nearly $200,000. For 2 pennies. Now I can already hear some of you saying, how is that possible? How does a penny become worth $100,000? And that is exactly the right question to ask, and I am going to answer it completely for you right now. First, condition is everything. The specimens that sold for those prices were graded at the very highest levels by professional grading services. They were essentially perfect coins, coins that had never been used, never been touched carelessly, and had survived for 50 years in a state of near-pristine preservation. When you combine extreme rarity of condition with strong collector demand, prices rise to extraordinary levels. Second, the 1974 penny sits at an important historical moment. It was produced at a time when American coinage was changing, when the mint was wrestling with material costs, when the country itself was going through enormous transformation. Coins that capture important historical moments carry additional premium in the collector market. Serious collectors do not just buy metal. They buy history. They buy stories. They buy pieces of a moment in time that can never be recreated. Third, Lincoln cents have one of the deepest and most passionate collector bases of any coin series in the world. People have been collecting Lincoln pennies since 1909. There are collectors who have spent decades, sometimes their entire adult lives, assembling complete sets of Lincoln cents in the finest possible condition. For those collectors, a pristine 1974 D or a pristine 1974 no mint mark penny represents a critical piece of a lifelong pursuit. And when a lifelong pursuit meets a coin in perfect condition, price is almost secondary. Now I want you to think about something very carefully. In 1974, these pennies were everywhere. They were in everyone's pockets. They were in every cash register, every piggy bank, every coin jar in America. Most of them were spent and worn and lost. But some of them, a very small number, were set aside. Maybe someone put a roll of fresh pennies in a drawer and forgot about them. Maybe someone got a penny and change that was so shiny and perfect they decided to keep it. Maybe someone had the habit of saving coins and put away a small collection that sat untouched for decades. In any of those scenarios, there is a real possibility that a coin of extraordinary value is sitting somewhere right now, unrecognized and unappreciated. This is not a fantasy. This happens. It happens regularly. It happened with coins far older than these. And it can happen to someone watching this video right now. That is why I always say on Expensive Coins History Channel, never throw away old coins. Never spend old coins without looking at them first. And never assume that because a coin is common, every example of that coin is worthless. Because in the coin world, condition creates value in ways that nothing else can replicate. Now let us go a little deeper into the physical characteristics of these coins, so that if you do have a 1974 penny, you know exactly what to look for. The 1974 Lincoln cent is 19.05 millimeters in diameter. It weighs 3.11 grams. It is made of a composition that is 95% copper and 5% zinc. On the obverse, the front of the coin, you see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty on the left side and the date 1974 on the right side. Above Lincoln's portrait are the words, "I in God we trust." On the reverse, the back of the coin, you see the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, the words United States of America around the top, the denomination 1 cent at the bottom, and the motto E Pluribus Unum across the upper middle section of the coin. On the 1974 D coin, the small d mint mark appears on the obverse, just below the date. When you are examining a 1974 penny for potential value, you are looking for a coin that shows absolutely no signs of wear or circulation. The highest points of Lincoln's portrait, particularly his cheekbone, his jaw, and the top of his head, should show no flattening or rubbing. The fields, the flat open areas of the coin, should show strong original luster, a kind of cartwheel shine that rolls across the coin when you tilt it under a light. There should be no significant marks, scratches, or blemishes. A coin that meets all of these criteria could potentially be a candidate for professional grading, and a professional grade could reveal significant value. And this is exactly why I want you to watch this video until the very end, because the information that is still coming could genuinely change your life. People have found valuable coins in the most ordinary places, in inherited collections passed down from grandparents, in old coffee cans sitting in garages, in shoeboxes tucked under beds, in desk drawers that nobody had opened in 30 years, in rolls of pennies bought from a bank on a whim. The coin that changes your financial situation forever might already be in your possession right now. And the only thing standing between you and that discovery is knowledge. The knowledge that you are getting right now, right here, on Expensive Coins History Channel. Let us talk about the people who collect these coins, because understanding the collector community helps you understand why values reach the levels they do. Coin collecting is one of the oldest hobbies in human history. It has been practiced by kings, emperors, presidents, and ordinary people for thousands of years. In the United States, the coin collecting community is massive. There are millions of collectors across the country, ranging from casual hobbyists who put a few coins in an album to serious investors who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building world-class collections. And within that community, Lincoln cent collectors represent one of the single largest and most dedicated groups. Lincoln cent collecting has a special place in American culture. For generations, parents and grandparents have introduced children to coin collecting by giving them Lincoln cent albums and sending them on the adventure of searching through pocket change for dates and mint marks they still need. It is a hobby that has been passed down through families for over a century. And for the most serious and advanced collectors within that community, the pursuit of the finest known examples of every date and mint mark combination is a lifelong passion that drives extraordinary prices at auction. When one of those collectors identifies a coin they need to complete their collection at the highest grade level, they will pay whatever it takes to acquire it. And that competitive desire among serious collectors is what turns a 1-cent coin into a $100,000 coin. Now let us talk about something that is very important for anyone who might have old coins at home. And this is especially for our viewers who are in that 35 to 65 and above age group. Because statistically, it is older Americans who are most likely to have inherited coins, to have collections from decades past, or to have relatives who save coins over the years. If you are in that group, this part of the video is speaking directly to you. When a family member passes away and leaves behind a collection of old coins, those coins should never be cleaned, never be spent, and never be thrown away without first having them evaluated by a professional. This is one of the most important pieces of advice anyone who watches Expensive Coins History Channel will ever receive. Cleaning a coin, even with gentle soap and water, can permanently destroy its numismatic value. The original surface of a coin, the natural toning and luster that develops over decades, is part of what graders evaluate. A clean coin will always receive a lower grade and will always be worth significantly less than an uncleaned coin in the same original condition. People have unknowingly destroyed thousands of dollars of value by polishing coins to make them look shiny and new. Please, if you find old coins, do not clean them. Do not touch the surfaces. Hold them by the edges if you must handle them at all, and get them evaluated before you make any decisions about what to do with them. The same advice applies to anyone who discovers a coin collection in an estate sale, a flea market, an antique shop, or even a jar of old change. The coins that look the most ordinary are sometimes the ones with the most value. A dark, toned, seemingly unremarkable penny from 1974 sitting in a dusty jar could be a gem specimen waiting to be recognized. You simply cannot evaluate that with the naked eye. You need professional expertise. Now let us talk about the process of getting a coin professionally evaluated, because this is something that many people in our audience may never have done before, and it is much more accessible than most people think. There are professional coin grading services in the United States that accept submissions from the general public. You do not need to be a dealer or a professional collector to submit a coin for grading. You can send your coins in, pay a submission fee, and receive your coin back in a sealed, tamper-evident holder with its official grade clearly marked. Once a coin is in one of these certified holders with an official grade, it becomes far easier to sell, to insure, and to understand its market value. Many of the great discoveries in the coin world began with an ordinary person who had the curiosity to get their coins looked at by someone who knew what they were doing. Beyond professional grading services, there are also local coin shops and coin shows in most areas of the country where experienced dealers can take a look at your coins and give you a preliminary opinion on their potential value. A good dealer can look at a 1974 penny and tell you very quickly whether it is worth submitting for professional grading. Most reputable dealers will do a basic evaluation at no charge because they understand that building relationships with the public is how the hobby grows and how they find the extraordinary pieces that make their business exciting. Here on Expensive Coins History Channel, we always encourage our audience to engage with the numismatic community, to visit local coin shows, to talk to dealers, and to ask questions. The coin collecting world is filled with knowledgeable, passionate people who love sharing what they know. You will not be laughed at for bringing in a penny and asking if it is worth anything. You will more likely be welcomed and appreciated, because every time an ordinary person discovers something extraordinary in their spare change, it reminds everyone in the hobby why they fell in love with coins in the first place. Now let us come back to our two stars of today's video one final time before we close out this incredible story. The 1974 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny worth $102,000. The 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark worth $91,000. These two coins together represent nearly $200,000 of value locked inside what most people would consider to be the most mundane, most overlooked, most taken for granted objects in American daily life. 2 pennies. 2 coins that passed through the hands of the United States Mint in a year when America was struggling, when the economy was uncertain, when the future felt unpredictable. And those 2 coins have outlasted every economic crisis, every political upheaval, every moment of national doubt, and they have emerged 50 years later as objects of remarkable beauty, historical significance, and extraordinary monetary value. There is something deeply powerful about that story. There is something that speaks to the enduring nature of history, of craftsmanship, of preservation, and of the simple human desire to hold on to something real and tangible in a world that sometimes feels like it is moving too fast to catch. Coins are physical history. You can hold them in your hand. You can feel the weight of the year they were made. You can look at the face of Abraham Lincoln and know that this same image, on this same type of coin, has been in American hands for over a century. That continuity, that connection across time, is part of what makes coin collecting one of the most profound and rewarding pursuits a person can undertake. And for those of you who are watching this video today and thinking, I never thought about coins this way before, I want to tell you that it is never too late to start. Whether you are 35 or 65 or anywhere in between or beyond, the world of coin collecting is open to you. You do not need a large budget to begin. You do not need special equipment. You do not need years of experience. You need curiosity, a willingness to learn, and the good sense to look at every old coin that crosses your path with fresh eyes and an open mind. Because as today's video has shown you very clearly, the difference between a penny and $100,000 is sometimes just knowledge and attention. Start by going through any old coins you have at home. Check the dates. Check for mint marks. Set aside anything from the 1960s and earlier, as those years include coins with significant silver content that carries its own value. But do not overlook the 1970s either, because as we have seen today, 1974 is a date that carries extraordinary potential for the right collector with the right example of the right coin. If you find a 1974 penny that looks unusually clean, unusually sharp, and unusually well preserved, set it aside carefully. Hold it by the edges. Store it in a soft plastic flip or a coin holder from any hobby store. And when you have the opportunity, get it looked at by someone who knows what they are seeing. On Expensive Coins History Channel, we have dedicated ourselves to bringing these kinds of stories to as wide an audience as possible, because we genuinely believe that numismatic knowledge should not be locked away in specialist journals and auction house catalogs accessible only to insiders. Everyone deserves to know that their spare change might be worth far more than its face value. Everyone deserves the chance to discover that something sitting forgotten in a jar or a drawer or a shoebox might represent a life-changing opportunity. That is why we make these videos. That is why we put in the work to research these stories, to understand the history, to explain the values, and to share them with you in a way that is clear, engaging, and genuinely useful to your real life. If this video has opened your eyes today, if it has made you think differently about the coins sitting in your home right now, if it has sparked a curiosity about the world of rare and valuable coins, then please do something for us here at Expensive Coins History Channel. Share this video with someone you care about. Share it with your spouse, your children, your siblings, your friends. Share it with anyone who you think might have old coins at home. You could be doing them the most important favor of their financial life. Because somewhere out there, in a jar, in a drawer, in an old collection, in an estate not yet opened, there are coins worth extraordinary sums of money, waiting to be found by someone who knows what to look for. And the knowledge to find them starts right here. Like this video. Subscribe to Expensive Coins History Channel. Hit the bell notification so every new video we upload comes straight to you. Leave a comment below and tell us, do you have a 1974 penny at home? Have you ever found a valuable coin in your spare change? We read every single comment, and we love hearing your stories. Your experience might even inspire a future video that helps thousands of other people make their own discoveries. The 1974 penny worth $102,000. The 1974 penny worth $91,000. These coins are real. These values are real. And the possibility that a coin like this could be sitting in your home right now is completely, 100% real. Do not let that possibility pass you by. Knowledge is the most valuable thing you will ever own. And today, on Expensive Coins History Channel, you got a little more of it. We will see you in the next video. And remember, the most expensive coin in the world might just be the one you almost threw away.